What excites you when you look at this season?
I think the excitement for me is the youth that's going to be on the field at the quarterback position. And some of the teams that got so close, Green Bay being one, Detroit being another, Chicago out of curiosity with Caleb Williams, Washington with Jaden Daniels, out in Denver with Bo Nix. You have all these young quarterbacks coming in and having a chance to be able to play. So from my perspective, it's what's going to happen at the quarterback position. The other thing, too, everybody's been talking about the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to be what he was in the past? He's 40 years old, but right now that means absolutely nothing when it comes to age. He's kept himself in great shape, and they do have a terrific defense. So, those are the teams to me as I look around the league. The NFC's got those. The AFC's Miami going to be what they need to be. Did they reload defensively so that they can stay as competitive as they were the early part of the season? Each team you look at and you have a question mark about somewhere. As the defense, Buffalo lost a lot of people. Did they replace them? And so as you look around the league, you look at these different teams, and is Joe Burrow going to be okay? Another one. So a lot of it revolves around the quarterback position, to be honest with you.
Joe, you're almost answering some of my questions before I even get a chance to ask them. So let me do my best here to try to knock some of these off. And I'm actually going to go in the order in which you spoke, all right? You started with these rookie quarterbacks, Caleb Williams in Chicago, Jaden Daniels in Washington. Let's talk a little bit about the pressure that these young men must be facing right now and whether or not they have what it takes to actually live up to it. Most specifically, Caleb Williams, who's the #1 draft pick after all.
Both of them come out of, Alex, they both come out of big-time programs where they've been exposed to a lot of media. They've been exposed to a lot of coverage by television. So I don't think the situation is going to be that difficult for them from that point, dealing with the pressures. What they're going to find is that the NFL is an entirely different speed. Now, we saw sample sizes of them in the preseason, but very limited amounts. We never saw them make a mistake. We never saw them throw an interception. We never saw them have to recover in a situation where they go down. Now it's 3rd and 22 or 3rd and 15. Right. There's a lot of the learning process to go, but they're both very, very smart. They're both very, very athletic, and they both bring a dimension to the game that I think is evolving as we speak.
We're showing these pictures of the Kansas City Chiefs on the screen, and there's images from the Super Bowl. But the fact of the matter is, for nearly 60 years, no team has ever won it 3 times in a row. Kansas City Chiefs, of course, won the last 2 behind Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and, of course, Taylor Swift. We, of course, got to mention her in there as well. But let's talk about the likelihood. Do you think they can actually pull this off, the NFL three-peat, never been done before?
I will say the big factor is going to be health. It's always health. How healthy are you going into the playoffs? Last year, Kansas City, through the first 13 games, they dropped everything. Their wide receivers were putting the ball on the ground. Travis was putting the ball on the ground. All of a sudden, the latter part of the season and into the playoffs, they caught everything and made a world of difference. Patrick really had a really, really good year last year, but nobody really talked about it. And I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. I think he can make things happen when they go awry. And Andy Reid and he have developed a tremendous relationship because the coordinator/head coach and the quarterback have to be on the same page. So I think they can do it. I really do.
Joe, you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, who has been the talk of the town for as long as I can remember, at least the last 2 decades or so. But obviously last year's injury in game 1 of the season was such a big headline, and people wondering whether or not he could make a comeback. Just last season, we saw him actually running out there training and thinking he might be able to appear in the playoffs should they make it. But now we're looking at other headlines. NFL agent says Aaron Rodgers isn't a team player. The Jets are in complete disarray. Is this just one of those preseason headlines, or is there some actual truth to it? And then finally, what should we expect from Aaron Rodgers coming off this really terrible injury that sidelined him last year?
Well, you don't know whether there's truth or not, or truth or fiction. I mean, that's somebody prognosticating what they believe and what they think. I know Aaron pretty well. He's ready. He's competitive. He's excited about this season. And the thing is that makes this season special is he missed it for a year. I mean, he could have walked away last year. He could have not wanted to train as hard as he did to get back and do all the things. I think he looked at the Jets and said, you know what? It's a really good defense. People have asked me all the time, what's the most important asset a quarterback can possess? It's a great defense. Right. And he has one in New York. So to me, I think that he knows this offense like the back of his hand. It's basically his offense, right, as well as Daniels. So, yeah, I expect it to be very, very productive for Aaron and the Jets this particular year.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.